It's really great, and I know a lot of you, and maybe most of you, and some were involved in the whole project to a very great degree. So actually, I did, when I first approached him, I think it maybe was before Mike Hankard gave his presentation, but after, I was really kind of went, you know, I should have went first, because Mike would not have been able to move that house if I hadn't moved mine out of the way first. So this is the title, How Denny and Lisa Saved the Old House. Jesse wrote that, I did not. It should be Lisa saved the house, Denny was dragged along kicking and screaming. So we can sort of start the tale. It was in the spring of 2001, and those of you who've been longtime Veronians, you know the Battle of the Sharp House. And our city council and mayor, they were sort of battle scarred from the Sharp House fight and just the way that all came out and the reputation that Verona has for not saving what should be saved. And so Lisa got wind of that, and her mother, Lorleen Palmer, was very involved in that whole thing, and so she talked to us about going and getting the house and see what it was all about. So we did, and it was I did remember the guy's name finally. It's Leif Olson, and Leif Olson and his brother were trying to expand their business at 205 East Verona. So it's where Mike's house is now, the big Foursquare. And then now that building was a Amish furniture place at the time. And they wanted to build another building on the east of that. So right now it's a flower shop, I think, and vitamins or something like that. So anyway, the idea was city council offered it for $1 if you could move it out by the 1st of September, roughly. So that was the deal. Well, so Lisa's business, which was started by Lynn Call Elver, and Renetta Henry has it now. But that was a permit business, and we had customers that were house movers. They got oversized, overweight loads, and so Lisa knew exactly what would have to be done to get the permits and get the approval, get the people that knew what they were doing in order to move the house. So we started looking at it, and we were looking for lots out in the country to move it to, and found a couple of nice ones, but it became clear that it could not be done with all the approvals you would need to get it done by September 1st. So somebody brilliant, and I really don't remember who it was, might have been Kenny, might have been Fred, I don't know who it was, but one of the families, somebody said, well, why don't you just divide your lot in two and move it there? And we're like, oh, brilliant, because we had roughly half an acre. So we went to the city council, got approval to divide it in 2 lots, and I wrote a proposal to them to indicate how we could actually do everything we said we were going to do. We were not neophytes or just blowing smoke to get the house for $1. So that was what we did. And so let me begin on the slides. Oop, I'm going the wrong way. Okay. There's Lisa. Isn't she cute? She's up in the top of the stairs up in the 2nd floor. You can see everything's been removed from the walls and new stuff created. And this is the house as it sat on 105 Jefferson, or South Jefferson. 102, 105, forgot now, 102 I think. So you can see the building where the flower shop is right there. And so the idea was get rid of this house and build a 2-story office building and retail in that area. So it's this is what it looks like today with Mike's house there and the other building. So it's coming right up. There's a Vandergrift, I think, was the original owner, but across the street is an accountant, I think. Anyway, so it kind of shows you where that is. The owners of the house, this is one of the cool things about it. We had a lot of history to that house. The original owner is Robert Alton Williams, Sr., and he's the one who bought the house and built it. His wife was Clara Phillips we found her prayer book in the attic, and it's Danish, I believe it was written in Danish, a Danish Lutheran prayer book with her background in it. So that's how we got clued on to who the wife or the mother was. The 3 children are listed there: Robert Alton Williams Jr., Florence Serrato, and Susan Williams. So that's all that ever lived in that house. That's it. So it was like a time capsule. After the kids grew up, Bob Jr. bought it and took over, and he lived there until he went into the nursing home. So that's when he sold to the Olson family. So I kind of wish that Art or Ken were here, because Keith Miller told me that Robert was the postmaster for Verona. So I'm not sure, but that's what Keith told me. His memory is usually pretty good, or was. Also, Claire was an auxiliary member of the Rural Letter Carriers Association. So that backs up that story. Robert Jr., I believe, had a hearing aid business or something like that. But I don't know a whole lot about him. There's the prayer book from the Stoughton Lutheran Church. And it's got her, she was practicing drawing her name. A lot of women, I don't know, but apparently she was sweet on Gilbert, was the guy's name. We don't know that for a fact, but she wrote a guy's name Gilbert in there a number of times. And we reached out. Robert was already in the nursing home. We didn't talk to him much, but Florence Serrato answered our letter. And it turned out that she was pretty prominent. She ended up serving in the Coast Guard in World War II. And she lived in Madison, but moved back to Verona eventually. And she's a very nice lady. I don't know if anybody remembers her, but this is an article from the Verona Press shortly after we moved the house, playing up her service. This is the bill of sale for the actual house. So this is a Harris Brothers home, which everybody knows about Sears kits. That's a very prevalent name. There were other, Montgomery Ward, there was a number of other carriers who sold house kits in those days. But this is the actual bill of sale that we still have. And it is from September 30th of 1921. It's got every piece of lumber that comes with the kit. And the bottom line of that was $1,970. So that's how much it cost. And I thought this is an interesting bit of trivia or gossip. But Clara had to sign the note for the $1,500 balance. R.A. Williams just put up the cash down, so Clara paid the $1,500 note. So I thought that was pretty interesting. This is the actual blueprints of the house. We still have that as well, and you guys can take a look at those later on if you want. This is the front of the house, so it's very detailed, gives so that people who buy the house will know how to put it together. So, and that's the number of the model. So it was 1,025 of those sold at that time. So talking to Keith Miller again, Keith told me, this is another kind of a cool Verona tie-in.
Danny, can you point the mic a little bit more at your mouth there?
Sure.
There you go. Thanks.
I'm a gesture guy. I need a mobile one. Keith Miller told me that he remembered as a kid when this came up on the railroad. So it was shipped up on the railroad from Chicago to the depot right over yonder, a little bit here. And Henry Maurer brought a team of horses down and picked up the kit and brought it to Jefferson Street to do the work. So I thought that was pretty cool that we, like I say, Keith had a pretty good memory, so I think you can probably trust that. So that's how that place was built, and like I said, it stayed relatively the same until 1938, I'm guessing here. This was, the upstairs came unfurnished or unfinished, and as the kids got a little older, there was only 2 bedrooms downstairs. It was pretty basic, so it became they wanted to finish the upstairs. So that is, I'm pretty sure that's the date that they did it. And I have a piece of what I'm told is beaver board. So you can look at that too. This is what the entire upstairs was finished with. It's not plaster and it's not wood. It's fibrous. That was a big pain. And I mean, it was a little difficult to get rid of it, but we did save this little thing from the kids' room. And so you should be some more stuff. Yeah, so this is what it looked like as we're prepping there. It's a typical a bungalow house. It is that prevalent style in those days. That's the rear. This is the front. Oh no, excuse me. This is another picture of the back. So this was like a little summer kitchen, and then the rest of the house there. And then the same thing, you can just kind of see the house as it was sitting on that lot. So it was a beautiful. Now, one thing that they did somewhere in the 50s, when Jalusi storm window guys were going around, they enclosed the front porch with, those are what they call Jalusi windows. It's like it opens, you crank it and it opens up, an aluminum storm door. So that obviously was not original. Oh no, there's just more of the same. That's the side view. People ask about the fireplace, and the movers are able to take the fireplace with. They had to bust off the bottom pieces, but they were able to secure that with extra bracing and able to bring that along. So this is our lawn. I went up in the call house bedroom and took a picture with a panoramic camera. So you can see our house here and the side yard that was where we subdivided and where this house eventually came. So this is 770 Aspen. The next building is the municipal, was the town of Verona Hall for many years. And then this is 768 Bassman. So back to the Call story, where Vernon Call built a machine shed which was later used for student housing after World War II. And so our house, both actually, are on the site of that Quonset type building that is at across the street from the Call farm. And then this is basically all that was left after the fire in 1952. So those are some great pictures that Lynn's daughter found somewhere, and I think Ruth brought. But now, okay, so this is my favorite niece, Mary. Don't tell the other girls. Mary is hanging upside down off of a tire swing that's attached to a walnut tree. And I think that's Daisy licking her face. But this here is the foundation from that original building, the Quonset hut building. And that is made with possibly the hardest concrete known to man. There has been more swearing, more wrecked equipment, trying to blast that out. We would have had to use dynamite, I think. Because those old Germans, they knew what they were doing when they made concrete. So everything's, stanchions and God only knows what is in there. But it has been very difficult to dislodge. And every construction project that's ever been there has had to deal with that. So this is when we're prepping to get ready to move. They're starting to get this up. So what they do is they disconnect it from the foundation, and they push I-beams through there to prepare it to be moved. So you can see there, it's up, starting to get up onto the I-beams and is moving off of the old foundation. It's funny because what they use it's not any kind of high-tech thing. They take bars of ivory soap and grease the I-beams with the bars of ivory soap. So this is just, remember I said that in 1938 they remodeled upstairs, so they put a bathroom in upstairs. And I love this picture because you can wash your hands and do your business at the same time. These are the beautiful doors that are on there, and those have been saved. They're still in the position. Just to show what that was like upstairs. These are the beautiful doors. So you can see all the woodwork was just gorgeous. It had never really been scratched or seriously altered. That's the front porch with those jalousie windows. You can see the appliances and everything were like time capsule. I should have had Sears come and take them to a museum or something, but that wasn't to be. This is the front with the beautiful glass work and woodwork. So you can see this is as it's moved off of the old foundation onto the trailer that's going to pull it away. And there's the truck that's getting ready to do it. This is the site work that had to be done at our house. So what they do, people always ask, well, do they build a foundation? The answer is no. They put it, just make ramps and push the dirt out of the way so that you're ready for a foundation to be built. So these are a couple of views of that. And Mike Olson, local guy, did the work. That's his tractor there. Now this tree, remember I talked about Lisa being so stubborn? No, Thank you. And anyway, she was determined to save that tree. Everybody said, that tree's gotta go. Gotta get rid of that tree. And we did lose, there was a couple other ones there that were gone, but we saved that tree. She was bound determined to do that. So all the experts, of course, told her that it would never save, and I put the the fertilizer sticks in there every spring, and and watered it, and it looks beautiful now. So this is the actual night of the move. We're ready to go. So it starts at midnight on September 4th, I think it was. It was actually a few days after the first. So some of you were there. Gene Mesher brought chocolate chip cookies, which were much appreciated. So we all started off and just walked along with the house as it moved through downtown Verona. And here's the first challenge. The mast arm at West Main and Verona Avenue, West Verona Avenue in North Main, right by the corner there. So what do? Oh, that looks pretty tight, doesn't it? We maybe didn't measure that quite right. Okay, so we send the guy up. You can see his safety vest right there. Dude goes up there to see what can be done. So, a lot of head scratching and talking and this and that. Well, give me a broom, he says. So he goes up there, and you can see him with the broom. You can't really see the broom, but you can see him right up there and holds the mast arm up with a broom as the house goes underneath. So, this is 24 years ago, so there should be no statute of limitations or anything involved on this talk. This is this is the corner to go into the high school parking lot, the old high school / K-wing / charter school, whatever it is now, the old high school. And you can see the homecoming placard is right here. And so we took a left turn off of Main Street and started to go into the high school parking lot, which I may or may not have had pull to do that, but again, it's 20-some years ago. So, well, we get to the house where it's going to be in. Well, we made another little measurement mistake. So our existing garage was too close to where they wanted to push the house through. So this is Fred Pulver right there. I'm not sure who that is. I don't know if that was you, Ken, or somebody else, but these two guys went up on the roof of the garage with a Sawzall and cut 3 feet off the edge of the garage so that the guy could get it into the hole. So later, there was an adventure with that too, because raccoons quickly discovered that new entrance to a beautiful place to stay. So it took me a while to get the coons back out of there. And this is home sweet home. There it is. It's in the hole. And this is about 5:30 in the morning. So it looks easier than it was. We went through town very easily, except for those 2 glitches. But when it got there, the guy had he had to go past our house and then back it down into that hole, into the ramp. And every time he tried, it was off a little. And there was at least 10 professional truckers there going like, "You ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. No way." So finally the guy jumps out of the cab, walks all the way down to 9 Mound Road, saying a prayer or swearing or whatever he did, But he comes back and jumps in the truck and vroom, and down it went. So everything went well. So now you see it on the crib. And this is what they do. They put, we call them big Jenga blocks, but they're really like railroad ties, 13 feet in the air. And then that's what allows them to get underneath to build the foundation. Well, everything's there. We got Labor Day weekend. We're going to relax. Well, guess what? Terrible storm. And they said it wasn't a tornado, but these houses are all right around our area on Cross Country Heights, Basswood, Nine Mountain Road, etc., that had damage. And we spent basically a sleepless night wondering if the house was going to collapse off of those 30-foot or 13-foot cribbing blocks. It shifted. It didn't fall, but it shifted. And so they had to compensate for that when they did the foundation, but it didn't collapse. And so here's the first, you can see how they build. They put forms all around it, and then they had this, in those days, the concrete pumper trucks were fairly rare, so they had to get one to come up from Milwaukee. Now we see them every day going to Epic, but at that time it was pretty rare. So the guy gets out of his truck, he's got like a Nintendo controller, and he's going like this with his Nintendo controller, and the thing goes over the top of the house and fills all the forms for the foundation.
Wow.
You can see that's how that works. You can see the walls, the main wall behind here, and then this is a walkout, so it doesn't need foundation. Now, here's a nice picture of Kenny's grandkids. They are roller skating in the basement floor after the floor was put in. So that was a lot of amusement for the neighborhood kids. This is what the floor underneath looks like. It's radiant heating. So you can see all the tubing that goes into that. So the entire basement floor is made of that. Here's Fred Pulver and Marty Pulver as they were framing in the walkout basement level. Must have been the end of the day. He's having a break there. There's Lisa helping on the same side. You can see where the walkout basement is now has doors and support there. I think that's Kenny there, critiquing Lisa's work. He's wont to do. And this part here is kind of interesting. This is the old end of the house. So the first thing that happened in this journey, my idea was get it there, new foundation, hook it up, off we go. Got a house. Well, that's not what happened. First thing is it's too small. Okay, so it got pushed out 11 feet. So this is the old windows and doors from the old end of the house. And a decking is put underneath there, which looks like Lisa's working on that. And now it's 11 feet bigger, which Megan and Joe, the new owners, use for their family room. You can see the cribbing or the support braces all the way down the side, and you can see the fireplace made it, but lacking about 4 feet. The front, now this is getting to be as it was backfilled and the driveway was put in. But you can see that pine tree is still fighting for its life. It's just another shot of it, of the foundation. Actually, this one would have been sooner. It's got the forms for the foundation on it. Some more side work, the way it looks in place now, and then they get the truck out. There's me, not working, just looking. So this is the new back of the house with the extended 11 feet, double doors, and then now there's a beautiful deck coming right off of that. And there's a cat, imagine that. So this is where things start taking a turn, life intervenes, things slow down. And all of this was done with mostly family labor and friends and stuff. So it's not like you have construction deadline. You have, hey, I can work on your house at 2 o'clock. Can I come over? Yeah, sure. Well, so this goes on, and some of the neighbors start to get a little concerned because you can see tar paper and wood, and didn't look very pretty right then. So we started to get complaints to the building inspector. And again, I think the statute of limitations is worn off of that too. We had, I don't know, he told me like 23 or something, but anyway, so that's something else. So he writes a letter and he said, you have to be done by the end of the year, at least for the outside and landscaping. Okay, fair enough. So we did that. But we had another adventure along the way. Squirrels got into the house and those are like $2,000 or $3,000 worth of window there that has been just chewed to shreds. And the cool thing is, we never did anything about it. It just got, Megan and Joe, it's a selling point of history for that house. It just put some varnish over it and left it the way it was. So yeah, they did a real nice job. So at last count, I think I got about 12 of them caught. I put the trap right by the entrance hole that they had. They come out of the trees and go into this upper room, and they got a ride to Blue Mountains Park. So to rectify that, Lisa and her dad went up to cut the branches back. So they lost their squirrel freeway that was going into the house. So they're on a cherry picker there and absolutely fearless, both of them, and I cannot do that. Now it's starting to shape up. Now you can see the siding as it is now. It's a gray-green color. It was the next most adventurous part. Lisa engaged a professor from the Michigan State University to help her get authentic colors, because the guy was an expert on bungalows. Well, she paid him for his expertise, but didn't listen to him. So why did we do this? Why did we pay this guy when we're not listening to him? He became fairly frustrated, as professors are wont to be. And anyway, so she said, well, here's what we're going to do. Go to Menards, get a bunch of the thinnest plywood boards you can find, the cheapest ones. Okay. And then she became a resident of Sherwin-Williams painting place. And we painted boards, and then we'd lean them against the foundation. And then she'd say, I want to see it in a sunnier position. And I'd move it to a sunny. Well, we want to see it on a snowy day. We want to see it on a rainy day. And so this is called Oyster Bay, which is a gray-green. It's very beautiful, and it actually is an authentic to the bungalow era. So you can see now, we got rid of that old crappy enclosure on the porch and reopened that. And Renetta and Lisa, that this roof here is actually just beautiful. It's got a red, deep red stain to it with spar varnish on it over the top. Just beautiful. The original, the doors are still there as I mentioned. A couple of the windows, everything looks very authentic to the bungalow era. And, oh yeah, and here's the walnut tree has gotten some help. John Carley did the stonework around there, and the tree is surviving. This probably should have been sooner. It just shows the process of putting on the siding. And I think that's Renette up there doing some painting, I think. So again, Pulvers are fearless. Bereses are not. Yeah, that is Renetta. You can see her smiling face there. Like, what are you taking a picture for? Then this is the siding as it's being put up by the guys. And the siding was ordered from James Hardy, and it came in a fairly large reveal, I think 8 inches. And so Lisa didn't like the reveal that the company had. So Fred Pulver and I, we set up a sawmill right here, and every one of these boards, every one had to be cut in half. And then you had to paint it with old shoe polish deal. It was like a little brush, like, you remember shoe polish used to come like on a little wire thing, and like that. I had to paint every edge.
Fun.
Yeah, indeed. So that came out very nice though. And there she is. Well, okay, now we took a big breath after the siding and the landscape was done. Well, then days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years. And Lisa was a woman of many interests. Well, we had a cat that had 9 kittens in our shed. And then she went into the cat business. She went to volunteer with Angel's Wish and started fostering cats. And so the basement of the house became Cat Central. So you can see her with two specimens. I forget which 2 those are, but there was probably around 30 altogether. And as you can see, so, you know, we really concentrated on the exterior with the idea that the interior would be, you know, wouldn't be that big of a deal. Well, it was. There was lots of complications. That's the way it is now. Oops, I went too fast. There was how you're going to heat it. She wanted to use the existing radiators, and we had guys. OK Heating was trying to figure it out and do it, but it was just extremely difficult. We tried to have guys refurbish, sandblast them, and redo them, and it was just a nightmare. It couldn't be done, and so that was the biggest flaw to really slow things down. They had consultants coming from Chicago and stuff like that. Well, so it just, not that we lost interest, it was just, there was never any deadlines. And that makes it difficult, you know, because we were living in the house next door. We didn't have any real reason that we had to move. So anyhow, so went on with cats, and every once in a while I'll get a flurry of activity, but not much. So no interior work was ever done, because we had it started out, the electrician said, or the plumber, I think, said it first. He said, you know, if you get that plaster off the walls, then it'll be real easy to plumb it. And then the electrician says, yeah, let's pull the knob in there, so if you get that off, then I can just rewire the whole house. Easy peasy. So I knocked holes in the plaster, and I sucked these asbestos pellets out with my shop vac, and we bashed the heck out of the walls, took that all off, did all that demo, got them down to bare studs. We covered up, and all the woodwork was removed and labeled and numbered so that it could be put back in place. Stuff like that. It was lots of work. We added more. There's a couple of, Neil Johnson was working on the American Family office place, and there was some beautiful doors in there that he gave us. We got some wainscoting from the Thompson farm.
Huh.
We had some cool drain pipes from the Thompson farm, but the new owner didn't know what they were, and he threw them away. So anyway, but there's other Verona houses in there, and it just became sort of just sat there for a while. Well, then life really took a turn. Lisa, unfortunately, she got sick, and she had cancer, and that whole journey. And so she had no interest in the house at all during that time. And after she passed was a hard time. So nobody really, her original idea was that we were all supposed to keep working together to finish the thing and then sell it. And it just didn't happen. Nobody had. Fred got sick as well. Fred Pulver passed the next year. And we had a lot of issues in the family. So anyway, finally I decided, well, I think I've had enough. It's about half done. So I decided to sell it. Kathy Bartles is sitting back there, so she was the lister. And it came out to be kind of a neat thing as well, because it was a Friday afternoon and she had gotten an offer in, and it was a pretty fair offer. Most of the offers were junk. People just wanted to get it for nothing. And I was going to sign the offer, and some said, don't do it, don't do it. And I set it down. I thought, I'm going to think about it, because I had 24 hours. Well, I go to New Berlin to my niece's graduation. I'm on the football field watching my niece graduate. My phone rings. You know, and so I answered it, and it was Megan Wen, and she had gotten my number from Jean, who was also sitting there. And she says, you don't know me, but I want to buy your house.
Oh, this is great. We can hear from you too?
Yeah.
Hi,
This is
Megan
Wen.
Yes.
So nice job, Finn. Thank you. First of all, I never knew that there were squirrels. I thought there were cats.
Oh,
You know everything.
you would have thought that, yeah.
So I met Jean Mesher maybe 15 years ago, and we played soccer together. And so I had heard the story of this for a very long time, but I didn't know Denny as Denny. I knew Denny as the guy who signs my checks. So
She's
I'm
a teacher.
at high school.
Oh, okay.
And so here's what happened. My middle daughter, who's now 22, she did not get into open enrollment. We had a little farmette out in Edgerton, and we were driving back and forth. We open enrolled because I taught here and I believed in our community here in Verona and fell in love with the place. And she did not get into open enrollment.
Yeah, that was my plan.
So it was hometown days, whatever year ago it was, and she just had got her first smartphone, and she goes, she's scrolling through this realtor.com and scrolling, she goes, Mom, how about this one? I'm like, yeah, that looks like a Chicago bungalow. By the way, we're from Chicago. And so it made sense to me. I'm like, oh, okay. So we immediately left hometown days and drove over, but walked to the front door, and the front door was locked. Went over to the side door was locked. We went back, and the back door was open. So my daughter and I walked in, and I remember feeling 3 steps into the place. No windows, no walls, no floors, no bathroom, no electric, no plumbing, and I felt like I was home. And so then I continue walking through, and I see on the front window, it was the work permit, and it said Lisa Pulver. And I'm like, dang, Lisa Pulver. How do I know this name? I got to know this name from somewhere. So I call my Verona friend that's been here forever, and I'm like, hey, who's Lisa Pulver? And she goes, that's Lisa. Lisa, I've been telling you about, that's the house I've been telling you about. And I'm like, holy moly, I gotta buy this house. So here's the thing, with open enrollment, you are kicked out. So I had the oldest daughter and the youngest daughter could go to Verona, but the middle daughter had to go back to Edgerton. So we had a couple of choices. We could lie about our address, me working in the district, that was not gonna go well. We could rent an apartment, or we could buy a house. And so that's when the creeping started. Then I'm like, I gotta get Denny's phone number. I'm calling Dean Garrell, going, Dean, I need Denny's number. He's like, I can't just give you the school board president's number, you gotta wait. It's like, well, you gotta call him right now. Like, this is urgent. Like, my kid's not gonna be able to go to school here. So that's when the fun began.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. We had a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
We had to get that place up and running because our kids needed to live there.
Right.
And so that pushed us forward into, hey, we got to do something.
Yeah, they got it done in 13 weeks, what we didn't do in 13 years. Just saying.
Joe's a workhorse, he really is, and he's kind of like your Lisa, he kind of pulled me through the process too. But it wasn't our first rodeo.
No, that's one thing that the other person whose offer I put down, they were newlyweds, and mom was giving them money for this, and I guarantee you we saved them from divorce court. Because there is no way as newlyweds you want to take on a crazy project like that. And it was Providence, Lisa, whatever, but it really went to the right people. Joe and Megan are very experienced remodelers. They own a bunch of property in Chicago. And they like the first rodeo. So, and Joe is sensitive to architecture and history and things, but he's a very practical man. And if it's like, no, that don't work, get it out of here. But and you'll see the finished product, but he was the right guy for the job, and she was the right woman for it.
And Lisa was the right for
so,
it too, because when you were talking about how you guys wrapped everything together, I remember unwrapping all of the trim work and meticulously labeled east wall, this side. Like it was like putting a puzzle back together with her words written on these papers. So it was pretty special for me too.
Yeah, it really was, and the important thing, and let me breeze through these pictures here. So this is the house as it sits today. Joe and Megan added what Dean Garrell calls the garage mahal. It's a huge garage that is completely in the style of the existing house.
Oh, cool.
My daughters call it, we've got 3 daughters, we call it the ma'am cave. So that's fun too. But what's interesting about this was there was a black walnut tree where the garage stands. And my husband and I were both naturalists too, and we really didn't want to take down a tree. But we really didn't want to look at Denny's old garage either anymore. And so he had to get rid of that because it was like, what, 4 feet?
4 feet.
4 feet onto the lot.
Yeah, they frown on that, yeah.
Yeah, so we took down that
I'll
tree
show you.
and we milled the wood from that tree and we put it back into the house. There it is as our stairs go
Yeah.
upstairs and downstairs. So it was a beautiful tribute to the tree, and I feel like a beautiful tribute to Lisa as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So remember that picture of Mary hanging off of the swing?
Yeah.
That's where that tree was. That's where that ended up. So it's complete symmetry there. And well, you can see these are finished. The front porch looks great. There's that. There's that last lonely piece of the foundation from the Quonset house. It's about 4 feet that stubbornly was buried, and it came up as behind their garage. So
I mow it every time. Every time I go over it, my blade hits there.
they call that Lisa's room because it's the one room that is authentically still, the floor, the windows, everything is the same as it was. That'd be the north side. That's the fireplace, looks beautiful. Windows are nice, everything came out great. Dining room and the kitchen.
Wow.
And interestingly enough, this buffet here, this raw wood, that came from Gene Mesher's
Yeah.
farm over yonder.
Is that oak or?
Yes, it was white oak.
See, this instead of like a granite or marble or whatever, it's a beautiful piece of wood. It's 6 feet long, I think.
Yeah.
It's just gorgeous. So that is the extra 11 feet that we put on. That's that going out to the north. And side view. You can see we got a mason to come in and finish and redo. I had to take the bricks and chip all the mortar off them, and then I forgot what that guy's name was. Anyway, it was a mason. He came and he redid it. So it's still the original bricks. I just had to do that. Yeah, that's the beautiful deck and the upper. They call that a shake porch. So it's like a little library up there. It's pretty cool. And there we go. So I'm sure there's a lot of things I forgot, but I don't want to keep you here all day. But the one thing I wanted everybody to remember is it was a nice story to tell and very important to me and a lot of people that are in the family. She was really something, and Renetta told me this, and it really helped me keep things in perspective, because for a long time I was like, what in the hell what did we accomplish here? It was a lot of work, and I never lived one day in there. I never even I took a sleeping bag over there and spent a night. And Renetta put it in perspective. She said, what was Lisa's #1 goal? I said, oh yeah, save the house. Lisa saved the house. So I hope you enjoyed the talk, and she was a special lady.
Yeah. Do you mind if we take some questions?
Sure.
Do you have some questions? Anyone have questions? Yeah, over here. Hey, Rose.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out, so the house came from the corner of South Jefferson and East Verona, right? Right next to the big brown
Yes.
Building. Okay, so then they built the house that's there now?
Oh, yeah, I should have mentioned
Here,
that.
grab the mic, Danny, grab the mic. In case you weren't here 5 years ago when.
I accidentally, oh, it's on, okay. So there's a fellow back there, Mike Hankard, who, what happened, and I probably should have told this story, but so many of them. After 9/11, this all happened like the week before 9/11. And the Olsen brothers, their project that they wanted to do fell apart because nobody wanted to buy Amish furniture when the world is ending. And so they had some reversals, and basically the lot just sat there after we left. And I think, what was that, 03? Then that as part of, I don't know if you bought it from them or, yeah, bought it from the Olsons. And then they moved the house from behind Miller's. Was when Miller's expanded, there used to be these big four squares up and down Sherman Street. And one of those houses was what Mike moved there. And so a little bit of checkers there, or chess.
And I know Mike talked about this back in 2019, I think, 2018. Mike, do you have anything you want to add, or can you summarize your involvement in just a couple of minutes I think we've got newer people who weren't here back when you were here.
Sure. Well, yeah, thank you for clearing the lot. And thank you also for making me sign a development agreement that said I wouldn't drag my heels like you did. And,
It all comes to a reason, doesn't it?
it does. And wonderful job on the house. I know I've restored, and my wife Kathy, it's not just me. And we've restored many houses, and the woodwork and the floors and the roofs and the siding. It's anybody who thinks you're getting a house for $1 and you're getting a deal has not done this. And the other thing, I had to call the city of Madison and have them move that sign that you had to lift with a broom. We had to swing it out of the way because I think our house was taller. We had no choice.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, when my wife and I moved here, we saw that empty lot. We live right behind it, right next to it, on Park Avenue. It's the only house on Park Avenue. And we looked at that lot, and we said, boy, it would be nice to buy that and control our own destiny. So, and then 2 weeks later, I saw that Carl Miller was going to tear down the house at Miller's, and I put two and two together. Started my odyssey, or our odyssey, much like you did.
Yeah.
Did you find any remnants of that house? Like, was the foundation totally gone, or did you have to deal with any part of Denny's house to do yours?
No, I think you did a good job of cleaning it up. It was just a piece of grass when we bought it.
Actually, the parking lot, I think, is more where our house was, but there may or may not be some things pushed down deep. May or may not. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. You know, I didn't mean to come off myth, but I was kind of like, Jesse, why'd you have him go? I was like, I know this better.
I didn't know about your house till after Mike. But I got an order, like week to week, or 2 months in a row.
Yeah.
Who else has questions or memories of it? Yeah.
Well, no, can you tell me where it's located? I mean, where is your house? Where is the?
Where it is now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the corner of Aspen and Nine Mound. So if you know where the old Verona Town Hall, now it's Doug's Handyman. That's right on the corner, and then my little house, which is kind of interesting too. It was Hugh Nye's house in 1973, and I believe that's when they bought the half acre from Barth's, I think. I put some of this together without real evidence, just going on people's memory. But the Q9 was the town patrolman, so it was very handy for him to go jump in the snowplow, get out of his house and walk across the driveway. So they lived there, and then Kenny and Lynn's mother wanted to come back to Verona from Milwaukee, and she bought it from them. And then Marty Pulver bought it from Grandma, and we bought it from Marty. So, and it was supposed to, we had put an offer on a house, and I gave it to my lawyer, there was a fuel tank on it. So he said, don't buy this house. And then we're like, what the heck are we gonna do? We put notice in our duplex that we had and all that. So Marty says, just move in there temporarily. And here I am, 43 years later. No, 33.
Do you remember Q and I's first name?
George.
Do you guys know George Q and I? Would you mind saying a word about him? Oh, your dad was George? Anything you want to add about him? Was he a sheriff? Not to put you on the spot, although I'm putting you on the spot. Was he a town, did he drive the snowplow? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was my dad. And first of all, they had a trailer house there. And then they had the put-together house. But anyways, he was a patrolman there for I don't know how many years. So I went to Verona High School and graduated there.
Did you grow up in that house, or was this the nearby house?
No. Yeah, my sister, I have a younger sister, and she grew up in that house with my mother and dad. But, yeah, he was a good patrolman. He could really drive the grader in it. Oh, he was a good guy. Well, I knew that, Denny was in the house there. That was one of her dad's.
Yeah.
And I knew Denny too.
Yeah, I knew Marilyn too, so.
Yeah.
In fact, I got some of the stories from her, courtesy of her. You can't really see, but this is what we're talking about. This house is actually a design home. It was in two halves, and somewhere in mid-70, I think, is when it came in. There was another shed on the other side.
That was from Fellers.
And that's what I was trying to struggle with, is I know somebody had told me who, because that shed was moved to that location too.
My dad moved.
Yeah, and I didn't know if it was from Thompson Farm or but it's from Fellers. Okay, so I got that now. I couldn't remember I know you had told me that.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of Verona history there, so. Thanks, Marilyn.
So in relation to the picture that you have up here, where is the house that you moved? Where would that be?
Right where those pine trees are.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, so you see, this one had to be cut down, and it already shows we've moved two other ones. And then this is the one that we saved. So the house came right in there.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, it's really something.
Cool. What other questions or memories do we have for people to share? Yeah.
I'm just blown away by how many houses move around in this town.
Well, I was thinking that's a good project for Jesse, not me. But, also, which is weird, on Jefferson Street north is what's called the Whitish House, which was also moved from Nesbitt Road to Verona. And it is a beautiful house, has a lot of gingerbread on it.
Well, a question I had though is,
Yeah.
the house that was most recently moved and plopped down across the street from where I live, they built the foundation first.
No, they did. I don't think that, you mean by behind Avanti's or by the?
It's not behind, it's behind the,
I mean, but that's what I'm talking, like where the municipal parking lot is and the
Yeah, across
Baptist
the
church. Yeah.
yeah.
So I can mention that. So that's the East Park Lane, that's the old parsonage, and that one, they moved December, I think, of 2021. They had to move that one real fast, and they put it on the Jenga blocks, then they built the foundation just a bit to the south of it.
Yeah,
They had time, then they moved it over onto that.
right.
When they moved it there, it was just a field, and then they built the foundation. They didn't build it under it like in Denny's case. I think they built.
No, they slid it back into place.
That was another cool house with a cool story, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Right, Rose? Like,
Yeah, and they used to be on the corner by Sugar Creek School.
Oh, here you go, yeah.
So yeah, I looked at that house and I was gonna move it.
Which house?
This is now the one that went to Franklin Street, the one that you brought up. But the guy, sure, their family owns that old veterinary house right next.
Well, that was bought by Russell Marks in 2020.
Okay, yes.
So he did the only.
All right. So Russell calls me. I don't know this guy. He's in New York City. He goes, "Hey Mike, I hear you moved a house in Verona." Yeah, I did. He said, I'm gonna do the same. I'm thinking about doing the same thing. Would you do it for me? I said, no, I don't do that for a living. And then he goes, yeah, well, I'm thinking it's gonna cost X. And I really sat him down, so to speak, and I said, Russell, you need to know what you're doing. And he kept calling me, and I kept saying, Russell. But he did it. Give him credit. At the end of the day, he got it done. But I bet it cost him 10 times what he thought it would have.
Yeah. You know, my standard repertoire on that is, so I paid $1 for the house, and that was the most expensive $1 I ever spent in my life.
Well, thanks, Debbie. I think if people have more questions and comments, you have some artifacts up here?
I do. Let me just quick hold a couple of things.
You got stuff you found in the attic of the
Yeah,
house.
so the blueprints in that are here, the beaver board. This is a sample of the material that it's made of. And a couple postcards that were found in the attic. Deposit slips from the Bank of Verona from 27. A few other things. This is all their grocery receipts, I think from the Depression. Because this is another Keith Miller story that they would let people run up bills in the Depression as long as they were able to pay. And these, unfortunately, they all turned black, but they're Stuart Miller store. Then somebody was a closet drinker. So this was behind the medicine cabinet. It's a Kingsbury beer, intact, and it had a cigar stuck in it. So somebody was sneaking something. And many of you, you guys probably would recognize what this is. Jesse looked it up and found what it is.
So I looked this up on Google Lens. So I used something it didn't have when you moved this house. And it identified this, and it found ones exactly like it. It's part of curtains. It goes on a curtain thing where the curtains go over, and it does some kind of movement to, I don't know. Where's Laura? Laura, you have period stuff in your house.
Yeah.
And this was attic again? Was this?
I think that was probably actually on a window. I think there was still some, I remember there was some real plain Jane ones that swung out. They were like just a rod with a swing.
Yeah.
So Lisa probably requisitioned that. So.
Great, well, thanks.
Anything else? Okay.
Let's have you come up. Thanks again, Denny. All right.